Well, he's one of 4 challengers in the race for the Prince George's County Sheriff's Office.
He's retired U.S. Marshal Sylvester Jones joining us now in the studio to talk about his campaign. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Well, a lot of people run for office because they think they can do a better job than those who are in the office right now. What say you?
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel that as an assistant director, where I served with the Marshal Service over 27 years, I was the first African-American deputy marshal to make assistant director. I led 3 of the 6 operational divisions, the prisoner operations divisions, judicial and court security divisions, and for my last 9 years, I led the famed witness security or witness protection program. And so I bring experience working at the highest level of government to the Sheriff's Department, working with state and local law enforcement and other federal agencies across the country, along with Interpol and in France and Europol. And so I bring a tremendous amount of expertise and experience to the Sheriff's Department. We have a similar mission, Sheriff and the U.S. Marshal, very similar.
Okay.
You grew up in Chicago, but you've been here for quite a while. Tell us what you think needs the most change.
Yes, I'm born and raised in Chicago. I've been in Prince George's County for 22 years. I think that in 2014, I ran for sheriff. We came in second, and so the platform I had was school safety and child security and domestic violence. Mitigating and working on that. And we've been holding town halls. We have a domestic violence town hall coming up at the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. I heard you talk about Laurel on May 9th. Obviously, those 2 issues are critical. We need to make sure we protect our kids. That's our future.
Talk about your decision to run. One day, I'm sure you sat there and you decided over a period of time, I'm going to do this. Talk about when is your decision.
I've always, as a child, I had 3 goals. One, to be a professional football player. I was a pretty good player. I lasted not a year in college.
Okay.
The second was to be a police officer. The third was to be in the military. I accomplished a couple of those goals. And so I was a police officer for 4 years back in Illinois. Again, worked for the Marshal Service for 27 years. And I had a 25-year illustrious military career, retiring as a senior lieutenant colonel with the District of Columbia National Guard as the operations officer for the 260th MP Command. So in answer to your direct question, Byron, I think that as I completed everything that I think I had to do with the U.S. Marshal Service, I still wanted to serve. I've lived in the county 22 years, as I said, and I know that I can bring a tremendous amount of leadership, expertise. I work well with other organizations, have always done that, and we can definitely do some great things. I think the Sheriff's Department is a great department, but I think that it's time for some change and some good change. And I hope the community, I have a saying, I'm the right candidate at the right time for all the right reasons. I've talked about many of them. I also authored a book not long ago. I want to just mention that is Hunting Criminals to Hiding Them. My journey to and with the United States Marshal Service came out about 1.5 years ago. And so that tells my story as well. It talks about my military career and my law enforcement career.
Okay.
All right, then you're a strong advocate for transparency as well as family. Tell us about that.
Yes, one of the things that I did and I believe in as a leader, I always had internal audit units. So we wanted to audit ourselves, always was requesting to have other entities look at my organizations. Like I said, I ran 3 divisions. I led an appropriation of over $1 billion. I don't think any candidate that's running has had that kind of experience formulating and executing budgets. And so transparency is critical. And I believe in making sure that we audit ourselves and open ourselves up to be audited.
School violence, as you know, is a big issue going on around the country these days. What would you do as sheriff to make the schools safer?
One of the things that I would do, and I heard the earlier news coverage as far as adding more school resource officers, I think that's important. I would partner with the police chief. One of the things that I think is important as the new sheriff coming in is, as a part of my agenda every week, I want to visit and be visible in schools along with my staff. But I want to increase the size of the Sheriff's Department. I want it to be more viable, and I want to make sure that we provide better security. Now, one thing I'll say real quick is that in my former life with the Marshal Service, I led security programs for 450 federal courthouses. And that's a tremendous effort. And so I have a lot of experience in strengthening security at facilities.
All right, Mr. Jones, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And we want to let people know that if you want to learn more about him, you can just visit his website, SylvesterJonesForSheriff.com.